People act like doing things for yourself, spending on yourself, and being a little bit selfish is a crime. What if I told you it's actually just winning at life? Putting yourself first is not selfish. It's survival, it's power, and honestly, it's better than waiting for someone else to do it. But seriously, who decided that putting yourself first should come with some guilt? Because if this is wrong, I don't want to be right. Hey everybody, welcome back to Still Can't Cook. I am your host, Kelley Fahey. Thank you so much for coming. I'm super excited about today's episode. But before I get to it, hit follow, subscribe, wherever you're watching or listening to me, hit the subscribe button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One click, that's all I need. Anyway, I'm gonna get right into it. So on last week's episode, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. I talk about picking partners for the wrong reasons. And let's be honest, one of the worst reasons to pick a partner is financial, for the money. And I think it happens. I think a lot of people make choices, based on what life looks like when the big paycheck comes in. If you meet someone who has a lot of money or more money than you, depending on what you do, it does sometimes kind of fade out issues that you probably would have taken a look at way closer had the money not been there. I don't know what your current situation is, or if you have had this happen or stayed longer than you should in a relationship with someone who, was financially better off than you, but it happens a lot. I think when you're dating somebody, you have a list of things that you require in a dating situation. I think a lot of women, I'm going to speak for me. You tell me what your thing is, but I think you have a list, right? You're supposed to write down, manifest, do all these things. I think a lot of times money is one of the top things that women are looking for. I know it is for me. You don't need to be a billionaire or flying private, but financially secure, I think, is a big thing because it sets the standard for the male ego. I believe this is, again, I do a lot of blankets, painted statements and strokes here. This is a wide stroke, but I find it true in my life and things that I've run into when it comes to the dating world. And I think that if you find someone who checks the boxes, a lot of the times money is one of those things. When you're dating someone, I think if they have money and it adds to the trips that you go on, or the dinners that you go to, the nights out you can have, it can skew you from the kindness that somebody has. I think, someone says you can judge somebody by how they treat the server, right? If you have someone who's got a lot of money or financially safe, whatever that means for you, and they're kind to everybody and there's no red flags, well, that's a win-win situation. Good for you. Ride that wave, see what happens. Hopefully this is happily ever after. But a lot of times, I'm New York based, so there's like this financial guys, there's these bankers and investment guys, and I don't even know what they're called, but the people, Wall Street investment bankers and things, there's a little bit of arrogance. And sometimes that could be super sexy because what I find sexy in a man is security and a little bit of arrogance. I think it's kind of sexy, like knowing your power, owning your power. I think a woman is sexy who's powerful, right? I think that's where you find yourself, know yourself, it's powerful. So when you meet a man who has that little edge and maybe is still kind to servers and people around, and we always say you judge a person, I just repeat myself, but judge a person by how they treat a server. If there's like a little something, that could be like, ooh, I'm interested. For me, at least, I get a little like, oh, he's cute. He's like, ordering for you, taking over. There's a power thing. And I think for men, I found that men who are successful, finances come with that there's that little ego kind of edge that I find sexy. Now, when does that become too much? When does money become the reason you stay? And is that a reason to stay? Clearly, there's people who are men and women who have their spouse be the provider. And in that case, clearly it's a different situation where you don't have the luxury of walking away and maybe you stay a little longer than you should. But when does it happen that money becomes the only reason you stay? And what does that look like? And have you made bad decisions or made bad choices based on someone's success? When I was younger, having the bad boyfriend, having the tough kid in the neighborhood was something that was, for me, a turn on, right? So I found myself dating those kids. And in that little world, the world I grew up in, that was powerful to me. He was tough and he could make someone, tell someone to do something and they would do it. And I found that extremely sexy when I was younger. And I think in the same breath, I grew up and I dated men who were powerful in whatever position they were doing. I had a boyfriend who was a comic. He was a great comic. I had a boyfriend who was a stockbroker, great stockbroker. I had on again, off again, who was a philanthropist, it's power is sexy to me. Now, money sometimes comes with power. So when is it only about that? And if it is only about that, how do you process that? How do you sort that in your brain and make that enough reason to stay? I don't think it's enough reason to stay. I know people had a whole lot of opinions about my past relationships and why they think things were. When you're in a position with money, and hopefully people will understand what I'm getting at here, there's a lot of judgment on things that go on. Like if I was fighting with a partner who was a server, I was a server, dated servers I was a server who dated the front desk guy actually. But if we were arguing about something, there was no like, oh, well, he's at the front desk, so that's why you're letting it go. But when you date with someone with money, there's an immediate assumption that you're only in it for the money. And that's another thing. That's the other twist. What if you're not just in it for the money? What if you're actually in love with this person? And if you are in love with this person and there is a lot of money, and I think people will relate to this, that sometimes is the worst part of the relationship because it's the part all the problems are about. Like when you have an excessive amount of money and you can argue with somebody and they get in a plane and they leave rather than just walking in another room and shutting the door, it's the same thing. I can tell you that when you fight with someone I've been there, I've had arguments with someone who could just be in Spain tomorrow because they were angry at me. And I had the boyfriend who could go lock the bedroom door. I prefer the guy who locked the bedroom door because I can knock and we can make up. Money sometimes dirties a relationship and becomes the only focus of what everyone else thinks you're doing. And it's the biggest problem in the relationship because there's always a power struggle. I think there is. Imagine if it's the opposite. If the woman has the money and the man doesn't, I can imagine that's got to be a super different kind of power struggle, but I'm sure it's a struggle. I mean, what do you guys think? I have friends who are the providers and husbands stay at home. And I don't know the interest, like the secrets in their marriages. I think everybody has a behind the doors things that no one knows about. But I can't imagine it's easy for the male ego. I think they probably do something secondary, right, to make up for that. Either they're great dads and they're showing up to every game and doing the thing that the working mom can't do. Where I don't think the same balance happens when the man is making the money. I think that the woman a lot of times is pulling most of the weight that's being financed by the guy. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not a financial analyst or marriage counselor, which is weird. I know I could probably do it part-time, but right now, just for the podcast, how I feel, what I think. So yeah, I think that money can sometimes muddy the waters. And as much as it's great and fantastic and can be super fun, I've been broke, I've been not broke. Not broke is better. But I also have struggled with why to stay and why to leave and the financial parts of a relationship. And it's challenging. I made more money than the boyfriend prior to my last relationship, and he hated it. And I had to apologize for it all the time. And we'd be at dinner and I would slip my credit card under the table for him so that he didn't look like I was paying. You're welcome. I did do that. And because I feel like I didn't want him to feel bad about it. And I didn't do it without him asking, because if I had taken the step and done that, that would have probably been emasculating, and I was not going to do that. But I think at one point he said, oh, it feels funny that you're paying for stuff and that the waiters know you pay. So I was like, well, I'll just give you my card. And so prior to going out or something, I would give him the card, but there were times where I just kind of handed it under the table. So I think it's a different power play between women having money and men having money and how that works in a relationship. At this age, again, by the way, it changes. I was in my 30s then. So like in your 50s, I don't know if it would matter to me so much. I wouldn't care. To be honest, I don't think I would care. I might, at this point, based on my last situation, might get off on being a little bit more financially secure than the person I'm dating. So all you broke guys, give me a call. Kidding. No, not. You're probably cute and do all kind of manly like construction stuff. Anyway, I just pictured a sweaty guy with a tank top on. Sorry, it's been a minute. Okay, give me a second. I've been single a while now. Anyway. Now I'm all hot and sweaty, and my lip is, I'm having a menopause moment right here on camera. This is not actually me getting turned on. It's me just having a hot flash. That leads me to figuring out how much you actually cost after 50 and the hidden costs of being me. I'll tell you that. I'm expensive, and I can't believe it. I would break up with myself if I could. What it actually costs to be single over 50. And let me tell you something. It's expensive. Man, I have one credit card for Ubers alone. And when I got my credit card bill, I had to go through each one. Like, do I have like 7 other people using my Uber account? Could this actually be, who do I think I am? I think that I have the income of Oprah. I really do. I act like I'm rich, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm okay. I'm not okay the way I'm spending. I'm going to be homeless with the way it's going for me. Every single month I spend more than I make. What does that mean? You know what that means, everybody? Here's math lesson. I'm living off my savings. You know what that means? I'm going to have a zero left. But then at the same time, I think, tell me how you feel about this. I don't have any kids. Who am I leaving it to? Why am I going to worry about having a savings account or a retirement account? Retirement account, kind of. But I have, nieces and nephews and friends who are going to take care of me. I'm spending it now. That's my thing. I'm a non-parent. I'm a non-breeder. I have no one I need to leave it to. I love my nieces and nephews. You can work through the clothes and the jewelry. The money, I'm spending it now. I don't care what I leave, right? Like, who am I leaving it to? That's crazy. My brothers and sisters can care about the kids. I mean, I love you guys. You need to take care of me. I should lie and tell you you're in the will, but there's not going to be very much. I do have a life insurance, 50, life insurance. Do you guys have life insurance? And when do you get life insurance? I didn't even know I had life insurance. I bought it from Apple Bank. Anybody remember Apple Bank? It was my first bank account. Anyway, I bought life insurance, didn't even know I had it. Did some weird, going through my stuff and saw this monthly spend in my account. It turned out that I have had life insurance for a long time. I'm worth a lot more dead than I am alive, and so I have to check every drink and make sure no one's trying to poison me. But anyway, money, how much it costs to be older. Do you remember wanting to get here? I remember wanting to get here thinking it was going to be so easy and fun because you do all your own stuff. You got to pay for this yourself now. Do you know how much an aquarium costs? My mother used to take me to the aquarium. Aquarium's like $20 a head. That's $40 just to walk in. Have you had a hot dog in an aquarium? Really expensive. My mom paid for all of that. Man, they made it look so easy. Toilet paper, always there. Always. You know how much it costs for paper towels? I don't really know because I Instacart everything and then I get shocked because Rocket Money says I overspent. Yeah, how much it costs to be alive. It is so expensive just to exist. And I really do believe the older you get, the more it costs because you have more things that you have to maintain, right? I used to take my clothes out to be washed and dried. I used to bring them down to the laundromat. Now, I thought that was expensive. You know what's expensive? Laundry detergent. Laundry detergent that actually smells good. That's another thing, smells. As you get older, there are these things that you want to focus on, right? What's your thing? I have a thing. My thing is I like smells. My apartment smells. I pay to have scents around my house. So I enjoy smelling things. Whatever, judge me if you want to. But so I bought this laundry detergent that was really super expensive and I thought it was going to be amazing. I'm like, of course it's going to cost money. It's going to be great. But I bought it from a 12-year-old on TikTok, probably. But I used it and it didn't smell at all. It did nothing and it was like $75 for 50 pods or something stupid. Long story short, I'm back to Tide or Clorox, whatever the hell I use. I don't even know what I buy. I just hit a button on Instacart and they bring it. And if it's wrong, I never know. But yeah, everything costs so much more money than I thought it was going to cost. And the more you have, the more you need to maintain. I have candles. I have candles that have batteries. You know how much batteries cost? A lot of money. And you have to change them out all the time. I don't know. I feel like when we were kids, I feel like I lived on the set of something. I don't feel like it was real. I feel like maybe my parents were Willy Wonka and everything was fake because everything was always there. I never heard them complain about it. And I have a panic attack when I run out of eggs now. I'm like, how much are eggs gonna cost? And by the way, I don't even cook eggs. My friends make eggs when they come over. I have eggs for egg's sake, to have eggs so I look like I'm grounded or something. I think eggs makes me feel mature. I have eggs and milk in my fridge all the time. I use milk for my Annie's mac and cheese. I don't use eggs for anything ever, legit. So anyway, that makes me feel like I'm a grounded human being. Toilet paper, paper towels, eggs. The money just keeps coming. It doesn't keep coming, actually. It keeps going. The money just keeps going. As you get older, you spend more. Things are more expensive. You have more, and I know a lot of people, because I do hear from my friends, they look at their money, they look at what they have, and they worry about retiring because we're a half hour away from it at this point. But I don't really fear that because, again, I don't know. I guess because I don't have, I should be more scared because I don't have anybody to take care of me, right? I'm gonna be that old lady in a box on the corner. Can someone commit in writing to take care of me? You're watching it, write it down, send it to me. I want to be able to make sure I have that in writing because I don't know who's gonna take care of me and I'm spending everything I have. Yeah, I think there's got to be a happy medium between how I live and how people live who say they don't have anything. I was watching a podcast and it's about positive affirmations and how to get everything you want and manifesting. And they said if you can't afford something, just say it's not your priority because it sounds different, it rings different true in our own ears. I have the opposite problem. I think I can afford everything. I think I can afford everything. I am planning trips, I am buying clothes, I'm doing the Ubers everywhere. I did decide to start taking Uber Pet, which is great because Oliver, sometimes when you do the Uber X, which is really way more money, it's like double the price. But sometimes they get annoyed because you're getting in a really nice car and my dog sheds. And so I thought, let me try this Uber Pet. And thank you, Uber, because it's really great. Not always the nicest cars, but they always love the dog and he's happy, and so it's worth it. And it does cut the cost of Ubers down. But yeah, when you take a look at your life and how much money everything costs, I need to do a financial sweep and kind of just reel it in a little bit. You can't spend more than you make. There was a hotel guest years ago, Andrew Christie, God bless your soul, putting it out there. I haven't said his name in a long time. He was a hotel guest at Soho Grand for years. He passed away from cancer. Amazing man. At one point, we were talking about my finances. He was a businessman in London. And he said, I have a simple trick, Kelley. This is the way to do it. Spend less than you make. What? Genius idea. I still haven't done it. I think that was 20 years ago. I got to act my wages. Yeah, I haven't done that yet. What do you guys do? What do you think? Spend, save? What do you do? Rainy day stuff? Do you have a rainy day fund? I was with a guy on a date, and he said that he puts the money away, and it's his FU money. And I was like, I like that, but I think all my money's FU money because I just spend it like it is. So a lot of people think, wow, I'm single, I have this great life, I go trips, I do whatever I want to do. But at the end of the day, when a bill comes in, I'm on my own paying that. I don't have hey, Bob, we have the Con Ed is in today. Like 2 incomes, 2 people worrying about bills. It's the same as it reminds me of owning your own business. A lot of people want to own your own business and don't understand like having a business partner. I'm the complete opposite. I prefer to have a business partner because I want to go, hey, this bill just came in. Now, I'm single. I don't have that in my day-to-day life. I do. Let me just fix this. I do have someone who I know I could turn to if the shit hit the fan. I do have someone who I know I could turn to who could financially help me if there was an absolute, I need this right now, scary moment. I'm blessed, and I have that with my siblings. I have that with my friends. I'm very, very lucky. I have a lot of support. So let me not act like I'm walking a tightrope here, but I'm close to it. But the difference between a one income and a dual income is big. Though, what I find also very surprising is when there's a dual income and people are still budgeting. I don't get it. I'm like, why are you not just spending money? I don't have the savings mentality. I got to work that out. See, I shouldn't even speak those words. I've not yet had the savings mentality. I have saved more than I used to save when I made less money, spent like my overhead was less, and I had less. And now I have more. And my overhead is more. So I guess I've learned to save better than I used to save. I remember at one point, I lived with a partner. So I lived in a small apartment, and a boyfriend moved in with me years ago. And man, was that a life-changing thing. I'm, again, talking about the toilet and the toothpaste. The paper, he shared everything. I was like, oh, I'd come home and there were actually, it's like my mom walked by. My mom stopped in, there was toilet paper, there was toothpaste, but it was him. And it was really nice to not have to worry about the Con Ed and the cable and half of everything. And I put his name on the Con Ed bill. I was like, oh, we are getting married. It was 2 people's names. I think it's still 2 people's names. I still have the apartment. But yeah, having 2 people covering the same bills that one person used to pay, I thought I was, what I did that with the extra money? I thought I was rich. I went and shopped. I didn't ever have the necessity to have a lot of money in the bank to look at, which is probably something I need to work on as I'm getting older. Family members of mine who are going to watch this are going to be like, oh, we knew we were going to have to take care of her. You are. Write it down. I want it in writing so I can prove it. I'm going to forget at some point that you wrote it down. But you guys tell somebody. Somebody tell somebody. Everyone just keep notes on my life so you could remind me when I forget. Anyway, two incomes versus one income. I find it surprising when there are 2 incomes and people are still cheap. I don't get it. I don't really understand the lack of, I think there should be some security in that, but maybe that's wrong because people break up, right? I think I have a delusional way of looking at money. I just think I believe it always comes and it does. I think I've manifested that. I always said when I was a kid, till now, I even out. If I spend it, it comes in. I promise you, I paid for my hair yesterday. This is a true story. I paid for my hair, and then putting my credit card down, I was like, I can't spend this much. And I got a commission check on the way home for the exact price $50 more than I paid for my hair. I always even out. Now I gotta say I make more. Like I gotta manifest that, speak that into reality. I make more than I spend. Let's all do it together. Come together. Group, I make more than I spend. We make more than we spend. That's like a group. How do you feel about that? We make more than we spend. Let's write it down. This is what we should be doing. We should be making more than we spend, all of us. I want to know, you guys making more than you spend? Do you save? People who save, I see you out there. I know you. I know all of my friends all save. I don't know how they do it. It's crazy. It's a whole, I wasn't born with that. When they were, I was like, I'll take the funny. Yeah, I'll take the skinny thing. Oh, that whole saving thing. No, God, you can give that to other people. And he did. He didn't give it to me. But I finally, I'm not in debt, which to me is a big deal. And people who know me know not being in debt is the biggest life glow up. I don't know how I did it, the credit hack. I don't know what I did, but I got out of debt, and I'm very, very grateful to be out of debt. Now, if I could just figure out how to stop spending or acting like there's two incomes coming in, because there's not. There's me and me. I got to put Oliver out. I'm going to get him an OnlyFans maybe. So all of this is bringing me to one point, which is that you don't need anybody to do things for you, and that it's really empowering to figure out on your own that you can do these things without a man or a partner or anybody else, that you can actually do things on your own without checking with someone, without needing someone else to help you with it, and without looking for support. It's so empowering to make these decisions by yourself. Like, I am doing things that I had never done before. I'm fixing things. I'm taking charge of things. I'm making the calls that I need to make to get things done. Silly thing. I mean, I'm silly things. It sounds dumb, but like my dryer didn't work. You know how easy it is to make a phone call and say, hey, can you help me? No, I called downstairs. I had somebody come up. They fixed it. I tipped the guy. He's my friend now, and my dryer is fixed. Had the dishwasher, things. I would literally be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Yeah, of course I know what to do. You make a phone call, you get it fixed. I am not exactly handy, but I can call people and I can get it done, but I can make the decision myself. There are some things I do on my own now that I hadn't done prior when I was in a relationship, and I feel like, you feel kind of, the more you know, the stronger. It's knowledge. It's like, it's really exciting to know how to fix something. I do actually know how to fix what happened with the dryer. And it's the filter thing. You take the whole thing out. Anyway, I learned how to do that, and now it will happen, and I will fix it myself. And because I took the time to make the call and not panic about something breaking and be independent, I felt really powerful. And it might sound silly. Look, my mother fixed everything herself. This is the truth. My mother would have taken that dryer apart and put it back together with the screwdriver and tape. I, in fact, not handy. It's shocking. But the little baby steps of getting things done yourself and not having to turn to a man or wait to ask or sit around and hope it's okay. For me, now that I can do things on my own and make the choices alone, it's scary for a second. I'm someone who always wanted to have a boss. I say this, why didn't you ever, because I love looking up to somebody else and asking for help. I'm the youngest of 4 children. Something goes down, I still have a phone call. I have people I can turn to. But there are moments in life where you have to do these things for yourself, especially when you don't have a partner. And I have become much more comfortable taking charge and being powerful and making decisions and fixing things on my own. Then I sit back and I tell all my friends that I did it. I need recognition. I'm like, you know what I just did? And then I'm like, no, look, there's a picture. I came home the other night and I was hungry. And it was just like 2 nights ago. And I always make Annie's mac and cheese. It makes me very happy. I love my Annie's mac and cheese. And I went and I boiled the water. First I fed my dog, and I was going to be settled in with my Annie's mac and cheese. I was so excited. And then I went and looked, and I had no more Annie's. Mom forgot to restock the Annie's. She had toilet paper here, though. That was a joke. My mom is gone. That was a joke. But anyway, no one stocked the Annie's mac and cheese because I forgot to buy it. But anyway, so I got really sad. I was like, oh, man, I want a macaroni. And then I thought of Bethany Frankel. We should have some chiming music because she's the best. And I saw that I had pasta, I had tomatoes, and I had some leftover chopped meat. And guess what I did? Still can't cook? Cooked. I put my chopped meat with the tomatoes. I boiled the pasta. I read the box. It was 9 minutes. I did the pasta. Actually, it said 8 minutes, and I went a minute longer because I don't like it when it's crunchy. I did that. I chopped it all up. I put olive oil, salt, pepper. I made pasta with tomato and meat, and it was fabulous. And I made it myself. Because you know why? Because I can. And I know it sounds silly, and I wanted to take pictures and send all my friends. I wanted to tell everybody. And I was like, you know what? That's a little foolish. All your friends cook. You fed yourself. And by the way, you're a second away from every deli in New York City. You're not starving to death. I felt like I started fire. Like I created fire on an island. For me, it was the closest to Survivor I have been. Because I was hungry, and there was no Annie's. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to open a fridge and look and go, I'm going to put together I'm going to make a phone call and get food delivered. But not 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, I found myself starving with nothing to eat, with a tomato. And you know what's funny too? I almost pretended that I knew how to cook, and I did open the fridge for a moment. I was like, what else do I have? And I'm like, who are you kidding, Kelley? You don't know what you're doing. Anyway, the tomatoes and the meat was the safest thing to do. Olive oil, salt and pepper, and I did the squiggly pastas, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting this right. And I did. I did 1 minute longer than they told me to, and it was fabulous, and I ate it, and I took care of myself. And for me, that was female power. So this is what happened. I was so excited. I was like, finally, I am empowered. I am a woman. Hear me roar. I'm going to take off my bra. I'm going to burn it on the lawn. I'm like Rosie the Riveter. I am every woman. I was like, that's right. I cook for myself. I don't need anybody. And then I sat down and started eating and was like, who do I tell about this? If Kelley made dinner in the forest and there wasn't someone there to see it, did the forest tree actually fall? Whatever that is, that's what happened for me. Does this even count? I'm the king of needing people to see it. Like, I'm the credit king. Trust me, I always give credit. So I want credit. I wanted people to see that I made food for myself, except if it was just me. It was me and Oliver. And he looked at me like, come on, get over it. It's pasta. But I was so excited. I did that myself, and I felt very empowered, and it made me feel like I'm going to do that more. I'm taking this everywhere. I'm taking this show on the road. I'm going to be cooking. I'm kidding. But yeah, I was like, wow, I feel really empowered. And you know what bothers me? Those moments when you're not getting empowered, when someone actually treats you like you can't do something because you're a woman. I had an event. You will pay attention, ride the wave. I quit my job, and I was sitting talking about, okay, what now? What about the 401k? What about this? And my male boss said, don't worry about that. You could just ask Bill. I said, what did you just say to me? What, I don't know? But meanwhile, I don't. But it's not because I'm a woman. It's because I don't care. But he said, you can ask him about that. And I was like, did you just tell me I can ask my partner because he's a guy about how to handle my finances? I can do that myself. I can't really do that myself. But don't you act like I can't because I'm a woman. I can't because I'm lazy. Those are two different freaking things. Do not female me or like, hang on a second, ma'am. What do you mean, hang on a second, ma'am? I can grab that myself. I don't want to. I want you to grab it for me. But don't act like I can't. I'm the wrong one to be the independent one because I want to be independent, but I don't want to be independent. But I want you to let me. I want to have to ask when I want it. Don't offer. Like, don't try to cross me. See what I mean? I'm in between. Too young for retirement, too old for the bullshit. Don't try to cross me. When the day that someone tries to cross the street with me, it's going to be a problem. But at the same time, I'm like, did you not give me that seat on the subway? I don't really take the subways, but when I have, the few times I have, get up because I'm older than you. And I know I look good, but still there's something about me that vibes old lady. So let me have the seat, but not immediately. It's hard. I don't make any sense. I don't know. I want to be independent, but at the same time, I don't want to be independent. No, I do always want to be independent, but I want to be able to I don't want to feel weak. I don't want to feel weak. There's a lot of times where I feel like as a woman, especially of a certain age, that we are treated like we can't. I don't think it's chivalry. I don't think it's because of respect. I think sometimes it's almost really kind of disrespectful as if we're not powerful enough. The thing about the money, that got me angry. Like, it was a very legitimate question. Does my 401k all come with me? Like, it was just a question. Don't worry about that. You can just talk to Bob about it. And Bob is not his name, but it's a good name to use. And I was like, I don't need to talk to, well, you know what? Maybe I do. It's not funny. It was because I was a woman and it pissed me off. So yeah, I don't think people should treat us like we need to be taken care of. But then what do you give off? I think sometimes I give off that I don't need help. And then sometimes I give off like I do. So like read my vibe, read my energy. If I'm looking up at something and clearly on an airplane, I can't pick up my bag and put it above my head. I can't. I don't usually do carry-ons for that exact reason. I check everything. But if I'm standing there and you're a dude, really, you're watching me do this? I went out the other night with a man and he let me grab the door. No, that's the last time I'm going out with you. 2 doors in a row too. I'm like, I mean, unless your hands are full, what am I doing? I don't want to open the door. I will if I have to. I don't want to have to. So there's a difference between not needing help and not expecting help. And I think that sometimes men can't read the difference. I've had more women assist me than I've had men in situations where I clearly did need the help, and I was looking around for assistance. Women, we're very conscious of each other, and I'm not, again, me and my broad strokes, Picasso and the whole thing, but I think I've seen women help other women. I think men are preoccupied, maybe. I don't know. I got spit on the street by an unhoused person, and I looked around, all these men walked by, and no one came to my aid. At that point, I wanted someone to step in, and the first person who spoke to me was a woman. And we had our moment about what had happened. And I've since seen this person, and whatever, I can't be mad it happened. Better me than somebody else. But that being said, there are moments where I need help. But don't expect that I need it all the time. It's a hard, and I come in, I'm making jokes about men here. Anyone who knows me very well will tell you I have the utmost respect for men. I have the greatest two brothers and the greatest father that ever lived. And I have a very, to the point of it being probably unhealthy, obsession and love for men. And I let everything slide a lot. Ask around. But there is also this other kind of guy. There's other types of men who aren't as sensitive and aren't as thoughtful and aren't as wonderful. And that just kind of sucks when you're trying to figure things out as a single woman of a certain age, wanting the help, but also not wanting the help, wanting you to get it and not wanting you to overstep. So I think it's probably hard lines for men. I think a lot of times there's a hard line for men to figure out where they can cross and not cross. So with me, just ask, and I'll say yes or no. Sometimes it's exhausting explaining to men when you do want help and you don't want help. And I am here to tell you, I'm sure it's exhausting for you guys too, trying to figure it out. And I am not holding anybody responsible. I'm sure it's hard for you guys too to figure out what's right and what's wrong, because you don't want to make someone feel like they can't do it themselves. And you also don't want to not be a gentleman. But at the same time, it's confusing for everybody. It's a hard spot to be sitting in. I'm actually hearing this right now from people I'm meeting is they watch the show and they assume I have all of this, oh, she doesn't feel this way or she needs that. There are no absolutes. Like sometimes I'm okay, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I can carry it, sometimes I can't. Ask, I think it's really important that we read each other's vibes a little bit better. So it's always complicated. There's always so much going on. And the moment a woman decides to do something for herself, they're immediately called selfish. So it's like a lose-lose situation. What if you need something and if you don't need something, it's like either you are too needy or you're too selfish. And there's got to be a middle ground. And I'm trying to find the middle ground. But it feels like you get labeled very quickly when you're independent as a woman, especially a woman over 50. We've been told forever that being selfish is a dirty word. But like as you get older, selfish is really just self-preservation. You got to do it. Who else? You can't wait. If I stood around waiting for someone to get something done for me, I would die because there's no one coming in. I got to get a life alert. So where do you think the line is between being selfish or setting boundaries? Having things that you're going to do yourself, no questions asked, not asking for help on it? Or being selfish and going above and beyond to be alone and independent, pushing people away possibly? Where's the line? Is doing it yourself eliminating the need for someone else? Have we gotten there? Have I gotten there? I don't think I'm there yet. When you're single long enough, there are people who say that if you're single so long, you get so content in your single that it's hard to share with someone else. I'm definitely not there yet. When you meet somebody and you have your morning and they have their morning and you decide you might want to be together and figure out a way to make it work, the word is called compromise. It's a word I don't use very often. It was never really used in my historic relationships. Compromise. That's the thing that I think becomes difficult when you're set in your ways, when you've been single, when you've lived alone, when you've become independent, when you open your own door and open doors for others, when you expect it to be held by the man. I think that sometimes you don't remember what compromise means. And if you're alone too long, that could be a problem. And I think that's what maybe the world is afraid of when it comes to single women. Have we stopped compromising in relationships with a man? Are we no longer willing to make these compromises? Sacrifices, compromises, two different things. Two different things. I think you learn by making too many sacrifices that you're not going to do that anymore, but compromise is different. Compromise means something you both agree to. Sacrifice is something you lose. So where does that come into play when you've been single and independent? When do you realize that this is just a compromise? This is not a sacrifice. That's a whole new thing, I'm wondering. There are some absolutes for me. There definitely are. Waking up in the morning, I want a happy, positive space around me. And if someone wakes up and they're in a bad space, you go do that over there. That's fine. I'll see you at 12. Like, have your coffee, you do your grumpy morning. But I wake up and positive affirmations and set my space up for the rest of my day. And I'm not asking you to kumbaya with me, but don't ask me to be a grumpy idiot with you. So you stay home and worry about the market, and I'm going to sit here and listen to Kermit. Do I not compromise? Can you be single long enough that compromising feels like a sacrifice? Ooh, wow, I just did a whole thing for myself. I'm telling you, that's why I heal myself here. Is compromise and sacrifice the same thing? Or can we get jaded? Have I been jaded enough to think it is? Because when you sacrifice enough, it starts out in a compromise. No, don't you just want to? How about we just try to, And now I'm eating vanilla ice cream. I don't like vanilla ice cream. I like chocolate. But you know what I did? I ate vanilla for you. Now, is that a compromise or a sacrifice? It's sacrificing my chocolate to eat your vanilla to keep you happy. That's why I'm single. That's because compromise seems hard for me now. Okay, I just worked out my whole entire life again, right here on camera. Compromise versus sacrifice. What do you guys think? Is it the same thing? Or do you think what I think, that you start the baby steps of compromising because you want to be liked? I want to fix everything. I want everybody to be happy, especially the man in my life or the person. Remember, I'm opening up. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned for that. But consistently it's been men for years. So I would do so much just to keep him happy. And in some, I'd lose myself. So maybe now I think everything is a sacrifice. I'm gonna have to take that to therapy. That's a big one. What do you guys think? Talk to me about this. Compromise, sacrifice. And how does one become the other? I like this topic. I'm gonna talk more about this in my own head. So I realized, is putting myself first selfish? Is that wrong, putting myself first? And if you're gonna put yourself first, it's gonna bring me right to what I wanna talk about, which is splurging on yourself. When is that not okay, and is it okay? And I don't really care because I'm gonna do it. So I'm splurging on a facelift. That's what's happening. I'm super excited about it. I've been judged. I'm hearing a lot of other people's thoughts, and bring them to me. I'm open to hear. I've made the decision. I'm sticking to it, and I'm super excited about it. But at the same time, nervous about the spend. At the same time, I'm worried about the money I'm spending. I'm kind of thinking about it, conscious of the money I'm spending, but I also am very excited about it. But I'm getting a lot of feedback that it's kind of selfish of me to be doing this. Well, what should I be doing? I'm not happy with it. I don't like the way my neck looks. I don't like it. The doctor pointed out all the other things I needed to have done. I simply thought it was, I was lower facing it. He's the one who said, and what about boom, 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 boom? And by the time we were finished, I'm literally going to have my face removed, sliced, and put back on. But I'm doing it, and I'm super excited. But I'm getting a little bit of negative feedback from people thinking it's a super selfish thing to do. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier, I don't have children. I don't know so much about elective surgeries to people who have a whole family depending on them, or I don't know. I just think that people, I have friends who are like, oh, I would never do that. But the person saying you'd never do that has 3 kids. And I'm not saying I'm people who love me or I'm any less important to the world than a parent is. I think I'm a little less important to the world than a parent is. I'm going to give the parent some props here. But I'm making a decision for myself that's only really going to affect me. Now, friends and family who love me, I'm not saying that if, God forbid, the worst case scenario happened, that I wouldn't be missed. I would be. And you guys would miss me too. But realistically, the choice I'm making is for myself. And I think if you're in a relationship, if you're married, if you have a partner, if you have children, I think that you have to make the decision as a collective whole. I don't have to do that. Does that make me selfish, or does that make me independent? And where's the line? I did run it by friends. I did not run it by family because I knew that my family would not be supportive. They have not been not supportive, but they're also nervous. They don't want me going in and, cutting up my face. It's very sweet. I guess if it was one of them and not me, I would probably feel the same way. But I did run it by friends and get opinions, and everyone's like, you've been wanting this for years. And the fact of the matter is, I came to the conclusion that I wasn't happy with the way I looked. And it was the aging process. It was not my nose, my eyes, my lip, none of those things. It wasn't like I need to have anything added or removed. I just don't like the age on my face because it doesn't resonate what I think in my brain, how I look, what I feel like needs to all work together. It needs to be symbiotic. And at this point, I don't feel the way I look. I feel younger than the way I look. And I decided on my own that that's what I was going to spend my money on, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm super excited about it. I'm nervous, of course. There are things in the past that I should have done. And I wish I had of. And I worried about the money back then. And I said, oh, I'll do that. And then it was gone. It was things I couldn't do. There were vacations I should have taken, moments I could have had with friends, silly things, concert tickets that I couldn't afford doing. But I ended up spending the money on something stupid later on. There were nights, there were moments in my life that I wish I would have just said yes, made the splurge. And I don't want this moment to come and go and regret it. And that's why I'm doing it. And I also really think when it comes to self-maintenance, it's better to be a little bit ahead of the curve, because I am hearing, and it's very nice, everyone's, oh, but do you really need it? Yes, I really do. And thank you for those who are complimenting me. I'm so grateful that everyone has been so supportive and being so sweet about what they think I need or not need. I know for myself this is something that I feel very comfortable doing. Little nerves, I'm not crazy, surgery, but I'm excited about it. And I think that this was the proper place to do the splurge. Who else should I be doing it for, right? And again, just jump back to, am I selfish? I don't know. Self-maintaining, selfish, I don't know. I just know that I'm excited. So money does feel different as you get older, right? Sometimes you want to save it. Sometimes you want to splurge it. Sometimes you want to look at it in an account and feel comfortable knowing that you have that as a nest egg to fall back on. We're closer to the retirement years. Of course, we need to have a safety net. But then sometimes you want to splurge. And that's what I'm doing. This is my splurge. I'm going to do the facelift, and I'm super excited about it. And so that means on the next episode, I'm going to have my face done. So the next time you see me, I will have had the facelift. I'm going to hopefully look the same, just younger. I will be bruised. I will be probably yellow. What I've seen from a woman who just did it is I'll probably have some red spots around my eyes. I'm going to show you the scars or wherever the stitches are. I am proud of this. I'm not going to be one of these people who are like, oh, I just bought a cream. No, I'm going to be talking about it. I used to say years ago, had I had my boobs done, I'd be showing them to everybody. But look, my boobs. Girls get the boobs done. They don't want to talk about it. It's like, if you put that money in it, show people. So the face is going to be quick. It's going to be there. I don't have to take anything off to show you. So yeah, the next time you see me, it's going to have already been done. I'm going to be premiering it. I am a little nervous now that I'm thinking about it, like what I'm going to look like, but I think it's going to be exciting. At the end of it, it'll be exciting. I'm excited about the after, like the before and after part of it. It's the middle ground part that I'm a little nervous about, but I'm going to document it. I'm going to take videos and do all the things to see, because I'm going to want to see, you forget. And as you get older, it's about putting yourself first. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for coming back. Please subscribe. Next time you see me, I'm going to have a new face. I'm very excited. Can't wait to see you again. Subscribe, follow wherever you listen or watch me. Watch next time so you can see the new face. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for showing up for another episode of Still Can't Cook. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, on YouTube or any other podcast provider. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, please follow us at Still Can't Cook. Love to have you guys back every week. So happy that you joined us and look forward to seeing you next week.